Hi, my name's Dr. Judy Tang and I'm a clinical neuropsychologist, and my particular interests are in aging, brain health, LGBTI and cultural issues. So as a neuropsychologist, what I do is I assess the thinking changes that might come across with particular brain changes. So for example, someone who might have a head injury and then they have come to us with complaints of memory difficulties or attention difficulties. It could be anything else, including drug and alcohol, or perhaps even cases of workplace bullying, and that's impacted on the way that they can get back to work. So anything to do with thinking changes, that's what I can look at. I just love brains. It sounds a bit funny, but at the end of the day, I just love brains. I just think it's fascinating how this jelly-like substance in our skull controls everything, all that we are, how we love, how we think about going about our day, all the way down to our breathing, and of course the thinking, the memory skills and the problem solving. So I've always been fascinated how this little gooey substance called the brain makes us tick. So with regards to workplace assessments, I've seen a whole range of different types of cases, including capacity to return to work after an accident. Accidents including, say, they've had a stroke, or they even might have had a fall at work, and that's impacted on whether they be able to have the cognitive capacity to do the skills that they were able to do with their previous work. I've also been able to assist in coming up with recommendations of, if they can't return to their original vocation, what could they potentially return to, and any other recommendations that might assist the case manager in understanding how to best support the person. I have been fortunate enough to travel around Australia to see lots of different interesting people and cases and assist in their case. So I mentioned earlier that one of my main interests is working with people from culturally linguistic diverse backgrounds, and certainly I've worked in those areas, also working within Darwin with the Aboriginal communities there, also Western Australia and Tasmania, in addition to the cities such as Melbourne, Canberra and Brisbane. So love working with people from culturally diverse backgrounds. I also have experience, and also my expertise is working with older adults. So working across the lifespan, the adult lifespan, is something I'm very interested in. And for me, the more interesting and complex the case, bring it on. I'm happy to see what I can assist in uncovering the information and services and supports and recommendations we can help. So most people ask for a neuropsychology assessment to assist with cognitive clarification in some ways. So how does their memory impact on them to return to work, for example? Is there any change in their problem solving skill, and will that impact how they return to work or return to life? Another reason that people ask for a neuropsychology assessment is what we call assessment for suboptimal effort. So that's whether someone is putting in their best efforts when it comes to these kind of testing or assessments, which can lead to a better understanding of what might be impacting on them putting in their best efforts with regards to their recovery or with regards to engaging in services. For myself specifically, my specialisation is with older adults, and I'm on several committees including the Australian Association of Gerontology. So I have particular expertise working with older adults, but also I'm currently a commissioner with the Victorian Multicultural Commission, in addition to being the national convener for the Psychology and Cultures interest group with the Australian Psychological Society. So what I bring to the table is a cultural competency and be able to really understand the impacts of culture, age, which I mentioned before, but also LGBTI, if that ever comes up, considerations that may need to be taken into consideration when doing this kind of assessment. I guess at the end of the day, I want the person to feel heard, like they've been able to really give as much detail and information about what's happening for them, and that I will be definitely taking all of that information into account to make sure that my report is as comprehensive and as supportive as it can possibly be. So for me, I really hope to bring clarity to the case for every case manager or referral that comes through, not only with regards to clarification of diagnosis, but also clarity around what's been happening for this person, just so there's a better understanding of where to from here and how we can really move forward and what we can do for that person.